Hello, I'm Dr. Octavia Cox and welcome to the Jane Austen Advent Calendar. December 2025 marks the 250th anniversary of Jane Austen's birth. So to celebrate the coming into the world of this wonderful, funny, sharp, beautiful writer, and let's face it, the world would be a much poorer place if she had never existed. To celebrate her life this month, every day, I'm going to be opening up some biographical details about her life. How her family described her, how her neighbours described her, what did she look like, how did she describe herself and her writing. Hopefully we'll have some fun celebrating the life of this amazing, extraordinary woman. So welcome along and I hope you enjoy. The Jane Austen Advent Calendar, Day 1. The first biography that we have of Jane Austen is by her brother Henry, who was one of her very favourite brothers. She had 6 in total. And Henry's biographical notice was included in the prefatory material of the posthumous publication of Northanger Abbey and Persuasion in December 1817. And what I think is particularly interesting about this biography is the dance that Henry has to do in presenting, almost sort of massaging for the public, Jane Austen's character. And Henry works very hard indeed to try to reconcile the wittiness, the sharpness, the satirical intelligence which is so palpable within her novels, to reconcile that with the presentation of a real-life woman who would have to be acceptable to Regency norms of gender expectations. Namely, that women should be meek, mild, modest, supplicatory, etc. And he would have to do this to present her in these norms of the Regency period when all her novels were published, in order for her publication, the publication of Northanger Abbey and Persuasion, to be acceptable to the general public. And Henry is very aware of this dance that he has to do to somehow reconcile the voice and the sharpness and the satire within the novels with his presentation of his sister Jane Austen, who he has to present as having a character and behaving in line with the norms of the time. And I'm not sure that he succeeds entirely, but what do you think? So this is what Henry wrote. Of personal attractions, she possessed a considerable share. Her stature was that of true elegance. Her features were separately good. Their assemblage produced an unrivalled expression of that cheerfulness, sensibility, and benevolence which were her real characteristics. She was formed for elegant and rational society, excelling in conversation as much as in composition. If there be an opinion current in the world that perfect placidity of temper is not reconcilable to the most lively imagination and the keenest relish for wit, such an opinion will be rejected for ever by those who had the happiness of knowing the authoress of the following works. Though the frailties, foibles and follies of others could not escape her immediate detection, and I think anyone who's ever read her novels knows that, yet even on their vices did she never trust herself to comment with unkindness. And I'm not sure that anyone who's ever read her novels would agree so much with that statement necessarily, because she does seem to expose the vices and comment with unkindness on some of her characters. The affectation of candour is not uncommon, but she had no affectation, faultless herself, as nearly as human nature can be. Faultless. She was a faultless woman. She always sought, in the faults of others, something to excuse, to forgive, or to forget. And again, I think anyone who's ever read her novels will disagree with that. She doesn't excuse the bad behaviour of her characters. Where extenuation was impossible, she had a sure refuge in silence. And again, this is so unlike what we know about her being a published writer, in which she very much exposes the frailties, foibles, and follies and vices of others. She's not silent about them at all. She broadcasts them in published pieces of writing. So it's just amusing, the irony here, which surely a reader, when this was published, would notice too. She never uttered a hasty, a silly, or a severe expression. In short, her temper was as polished as her wit. Nor were her manners inferior to her temper. They were of the happiest kind. No one could be often in her company without a strong desire of obtaining her friendship and cherishing a hope of having obtained it. Thank you very much indeed for watching.